Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing great. Today, as you can see on the screen about the title of the video, I have a review and demonstration of these stampers slash stamper heads from a company by the name of Chelle-We-Stamp. So as you can see on the screen, I do have these stampers laid out along with the stamper holder. So each of the stampers came with a holder, and I know these stampers are being compared to the Creative Shop stamper and the Moyu London stampers as well. So if I reference those, don't take offense. Just know that those are just ways of me kind of giving you guys a scale of what these stampers look like. Especially if you already own one of those two stampers, you'll get an idea of how these stampers are and what they look like and the measurements as well. So they came with two of the metal holders for each of the stamper heads. They came in the envelope that has like the bubble wrap on the inside of it, and I'll just show you guys, you know, the envelope here. They also came with this little encasement, I guess you can say. And I know most of us are familiar with seeing these, like when we get takeout, you know, our condiments are in here, like salad dressing or ketchup, mustard, stuff like that. But they protect the stampers, and I'm glad that this did come with it, because for those of you who don't store your stampers out in the open, especially like if it's not your most used stampers, these are going to be good for storage. So if you decide you want to order these stampers, then I would suggest holding on to these little containers, because they keep out dust and they help to store them pretty well. So as you can see, I do have two stamper heads. I have the marshmallow and I have the jelly stamper head. And let me just tell you that these stamper heads are sticky. They are not just squishy, they are sticky. Like if you can see, I mean, look at that. I mean, they are sticky, and I don't know if they are as sticky as like the Moyu London stampers. They are a good stickiness. They're more stickier than my marshmallow stamper, and like I told you as a reference, they're more sticky than my Creative Shop stamper. This stamper is not even that tacky anymore. It used to be, but it's not even that tacky anymore. But I just want to tell you off the bat, before I even talk any more about the stampers, that I have actually been using these stampers for going on 3 weeks. I have primed them. When they come, they are going to be shiny. And as far as priming goes, let me just say it's a personal preference. You do not have to prime every single stamper. The best way to determine if you need to prime a stamper is to test it out first before you prime it, and then decide if you want to go ahead and prime it. Now, these stampers, they were amazing without the priming, but I started to notice that I was having a little bit of an issue picking up some of the images, specifically on the jelly one when it wasn't primed. So I just went ahead and I primed both of them, and let me tell you, I love them. Now, how I prime my stampers now, I don't use the foul or acetone method. You use whatever works for you, but I normally just take a magic eraser, which I have here, and I run that across the top and the sides of the stamper. That's how I prime them. So again, priming is personal preference, but I have already primed these stampers and they are amazing, completely amazing. Now, let's go into measurements, because I know that's one of the things that people tend to ask when it comes down to stampers, stamper heads, whatever. These measure in at, it's not exactly 3.5 centimeters, but it's almost close. I don't know if you can see that on my ruler, because my ruler is a metal ruler, but it runs roughly close to about 3.5 centimeters. It's almost the line right before it. The one thing that I want to tell you, if you decide to order these stampers, they are so soft. I mean, specifically the marshmallow one, it is very pillowy soft. I mean, look at it. It just, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful on camera. Anyway, the jelly stamper head is also soft. It's very, and they both are lightweight. They're very, very soft. And this one feels a tad bit firm, but not that much. And when I tell you firm, I don't mean like the Creative Shop stamper firm, because this thing here is so firm. Like if I was to throw it up against the wall, it would make a sound. like you do spaghetti up against like a cabinet to see if the noodles are done. That's how firm the Creative Shop stamper is. But these, specifically the jelly one, it is not that firm. It's got a little bit of firmness to it, but more give than anything. So if my nails grow out super long, I can literally, without messing that up, I can literally push my nail down into it. See? Whereas with the Creative Shop stamper, I can't do that. I can't push my nail. I have to basically roll that stamper on. And if I tried to push my nail down into the Creative Shop stamper, it basically would most likely smear the end. Now, because these stampers, specifically stamper heads, because they are so delicate to me, they could have the potential to rip easily. So you want to be very, very careful with these stamper heads. Be careful if you purchase them when you go to place them into your holder, which I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So I just am very delicate. I just kind of push the sides in, almost as if you're putting a child on a ride. You just want to be delicate. You want to place them in there very nicely, and I mean, that's it. It's really simple. So just be careful when you go to put your stampers into the holders. Doesn't matter what holder you use. If you don't use this one, if you use I'm trying to think of the name of those other holders that I saw on, I think it was on Inspirational Nails channel, the bug buckets. I believe she did a video on those, which you can get those from the Dollar Tree. Even if you use those, just be very gentle with putting them in there, because they could again have the potential to rip or tear. And personally, I don't want to do that. Even though these were not that expensive, I do not want to rip my stampers, because I already have like a little dash. It's not too deep, but it's a little gash on each of the sides of the marshmallow stamper head. Now, one of the other things I have to say from, you know, using these stampers for going on 3 weeks is beware of the amount of pressure you put on them as you're using them, and specifically this holder, because if you put too much pressure on it, they have the potential, I don't know if you heard that, see that? They have the potential to pop out. If you can see right here where the stamper has kind of popped out of the side, and I believe that's kind of how I got the gash. I might have put too much pressure on them. So the lightest pressure is all you need when it comes down to these stamper heads. So not too much pressure. Be as gentle as you can with them, and you don't have to prime if you don't want to. I'm just kind of like recapping for you. And the very last thing that I have to say is basically how to use them, which you're going to see in the demo coming up. When you go to use these stamper heads, one of the things that I have found is that when you are going to use them on your image plate, it is best to roll and pick up, or roll and pick up. I don't know if you saw that, kind of was quick, but you'll see me kind of like roll onto my image and kind of pick it up. I don't know, I just have to like show you in the demo, because I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. But these, I figured out that pressing straight down and lifting up, as you can see, it lifted up the plate. See that? That's how sticky this thing is. But pressing down and trying to lift the image up did not work. So rolling was the method that I figured out worked best. I mean, when I tell you best, it worked best with these stampers. So keep that in mind before you go to purchase the stampers. So I'm going to just do for comparison. I'm going to stamp one of the images on this Born Pretty Store image plate using both stampers, so you can see how it picks up on both with using the same image. And I really, now that I think about it, maybe I should use another stamping plate, but that's okay. I'll just use the same one. So I'm gonna pick up with the jelly stamper first. I love this image. It's actually one of my favorite Born Pretty Store image plates, one of them. I've got some more coming up that I'm going to be showing you in a different video. And I'm going to pick up on the marshmallow stamper. So you can see both picked up exceptionally well. That was a demo of the Chelle-We-Stamp stampers slash stamper heads. I hope you enjoyed the demo. I hope you enjoyed all the information that I provided you with. If there's any questions you have about these stampers that I can answer, you feel free to leave them below. But if it's something I can't answer, I will refer you to Chelle-We-Stamp's website, which is already linked in the description box. So I really love these stampers. These were not sent to me. I paid for these with my own money, and I'm telling you that they are a great investment. For $6 plus shipping, you can't go wrong with that. They're less expensive than the Moyu London stampers, and they're probably less expensive than when the Creative Shop stamper came out. But I can't remember because that was so long ago. But anyway, thank you again so much for watching. As always, I'll talk to you soon, and be blessed, everybody. Bye.